Welcome to the Sustainability Circuit Show. We'll be discussing where business meets responsibility. Join me as I speak to industry leaders across Kenya about their personal journeys and how sustainability became part of their company's strategy. Stay tuned for these conversations. We'll be highlighting real impact, what practical solutions and the value for businesses when it comes to sustainability. Let's begin the conversations. I think we're going to have a very insightful episode today. I think I have a guest that has such an enriching conversation. So I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. Welcome very much to our set. Thank you for being our first guest of the day. So feel free to introduce yourself. Tell us a bit of your background and what you do for work.
Okay, thank you for having me as well. My name is Rosalid Rwaru. Rosalid Rwaru. I'm the head of sustainability at Bio Foods. Bio Foods is a premium dairy company, and I have to just throw it in there that we're B Corp certified, and we're the first ones in the food industry to be B Corp certified, which is a global sustainability standard. Other than that, I also man the safety affairs of the company. So that means on a day-to-day basis, I talk to people, handle people, figure out what's working and what's not working for them. Once in a while, I hang out with the farmers because they are our main suppliers. And yeah, that's basically what I do for the company.
This is quite the chill, for lack of a better word.
Yes.
So allow me to kick us off. We are hearing you as head of sustainability. I want us to paint a picture. What was that journey like coming towards an industry in biofoods, in this case, a form of agribusiness, and as a head of sustainability, what did that journey look like for you transitioning from your undergrad to the workspace?
One very unorthodox journey. So I am a biotechnology graduate. I always wanted to be a molecular geneticist.
Hey.
I wanted to be part of the teams that come up with your chemos, your anything surrounding the cancer pharmaceutical industry, but then I also needed to have an understanding of the genetics behind it. So that's what I studied in school. And fortunately or unfortunately for me, I never got a job in that line. And I told myself that I will settle for any lab, whether it's a food lab, a chemistry lab, whatever kind of lab that was. So I did a bit of promotional jobs, your sales job, your normal BAs. And then I met someone who used to work at Bio Foods, and I asked them whether there were any opportunities at Bio Foods, and I never got a response. So one day I just woke up and took myself to Bio Foods.
Are you kidding me?
So I took an off day, took myself to Bio Foods. I met a very nice soldier called, we used to call him Masai. Told him, look, I'm looking for a job. I want to go to the lab. If I get a job, I promise we'll be friends. So he allowed me. And then I met a very, very wonderful receptionist who also became my friend. And I told her that I never wanted to do sales. I did this and I did that. And sent her my CV. And she gave it to the quality manager. And I was called one day later. Did the interview.
Okay.
Performed abysmally. I was so pathetic in that interview because I had sort of forgotten all the science that I did because I was now doing sales. Yeah, anyway, she took me. She was like, I promised her that I will do my level best to make sure that I don't prove her right, because at the time I didn't do very well. So yeah, that's how I started my journey at Bio Foods. Came in as an intern in the lab. Got confirmed quite fast, so I never finished my 6 months of internship. That tells you how good I am.
You are.
So yes, so I did quality for a while, really got bored. My personality is quite interesting, so I'll do something. Once I crack it, I'm done. I want to go to the next.
It's more of an explorative type.
Exactly.
You want to get in there, understand, okay, we've conquered this, let's move on.
Let's go to the next one. So did that, then did food safety management for ISO 22000 2018 for a while. also got bored because that was quite fast because I already understood the quality aspects of the business. Then moved to be a quality administrator where I was just running everything under my boss, which I guess it was more of a fancy title for being happy because I'd run everything. Then got bored again. Let me
pause there. So, you're saying when you get bored and you're transitioning to other roles, what does that look like? Is this do you have a dynamic where I reach out to my boss and I'm like, I would like new challenges, I'd like new opportunities?
Yes. So I'd make it very clear. I'm very vocal about what I like, what I can do when I'm struggling and all that. So when I start feeling like I'm almost getting to the end of it, then I'd always have a conversation with my boss. And the conversation would look like, hi, so I've done this and I've done this and I've done this. And I have trained people and I've put this in place. I was asking whether there's any way I could transition to anything else that you have, because at the time I really didn't know where I was headed. So it's like anything else that you think that...
It's more like you're exploring what could come out of this space. What can I do next that I haven't done?
Exactly,
Kind of like building that portfolio.
Exactly. So they'd always say yes. I guess lucky me. But as I've said, I'd really put in the work and would always
of course.
create some sort of succession plan where there's always someone else who knew what I was doing. So I did that. I went to safety, figured out I really, really love people. And I was like, maybe this is something I can do for the rest of my life. I had a very good boss. He is such an amazing leader. He knew how to pick out the strengths in people. He taught me how to speak, and I dare say that I wouldn't be even me right now, the way I'm able to speak in panels and all that, if it wasn't for him. His name is Laban Kagori. He's no longer at Bio Foods. Shout out to Laban. Yes. And with that, he taught me how to speak and eventually started making me present all my work to the management. And when I went to management, they were like, okay, this one knows exactly what to do. But then I had been coached for so many months how to think like a top leader. So when I go to my boss, when I go to the CEO, I'm not just telling them, oh, we need to do this. But being able to tell them we need to do this because it covers us this way. From a statutory point of view, I've spoken to the finance team. I know we don't have this money right now, but we're going to be in a better place cash flow wise 2 months from now. So how about we do it 3 months later? You see, the kind of thinking that you only get from someone who's interested in growing you. And then at the management level, I met our CEO, who's Joachim Westerveld. And then we sort of just clicked because we have one and the same personality. So he likes things done right now because, next week you might not have the time. You might not have the time and all that.
And there'll be new things to do next week.
Exactly. So after some time, he suggested that I get into sustainability.
Okay.
Because Laban and Joachim had the conversation on just get things done, and then get bored. So their idea was if I go to sustainability...
I'm sorry for cutting you short. I feel like this is so, I dare say, almost divine, because...
It is divine.
The way every player is coming and putting the puzzle together.
Yeah.
That we've had this journey with this employee and I think this would be the next suitable challenge.
Exactly, yeah. So it's divine, but then there's also work.
Work, of course.
When it comes to the bosses I got, they were just God sent. But then I also understand now, because I have people reporting to me, that there are employees who are going to make it very easy for you to transition them to the next step. And I'm so happy that I put in the work, even if I didn't have a clear picture of where I was headed. So sustainability was it. They were like, on this day, if you're bored, deal with logistics. On this day, if you're bored, deal with the farmers. And sustainability has been so good to me. So at the time, we had a consultant, Kat Evans. She had been through every industry you'd think about: military, banking, agriculture, media, other consulting companies. So she had such a clear picture of what sustainability looks like. And I was the luckiest woman on earth just to learn from her. Because it was 1 year of learning from her before she left. But then I was getting the banking aspect, the media aspect, the communication aspect. That was the best 1 year of my life. And when she left,
proper boot camp.
Absolutely. And when she left, she told the CEO that I think you're in good hands. And it was just 1 year of working in sustainability. So I moved from the EHS and sustainability lead to all of a sudden leading an entire department, trying to figure out how to move from a mindset of implementation to strategy and what I want for us for the next 10 years and all that. And that's how I'm here. So I have literally walked on the shoulders of just amazing human beings who I owed nothing.
I hope you're giving them their flowers. We will be giving them their flowers.
Yes, so they're just amazing human beings. I still work for Joachim and with Joachim. I'm still very good friends with Laban. And you know what? Maybe I need to call Kat and just remind her how dope she is.
Yeah, I think at this point you need to give everyone their flowers.
Yes, so that has been my journey to this place now.
I don't know why you call it unorthodox. For me, I think it's... I don't even know how to say it. It's like game theory where things kind of fall in place based off the moves that you make in step 1, going to step 2. I'm hearing conversations of a very vibrant working environment, a company that is not just thinking of products, of course, but it's also thinking around safety, thinking around their sustainability. I'd like to transition and just understand from Bio Food's perspective, what does sustainability look like there? And I know I'm speaking to the person that has curated that journey. What would you say are some of the core objectives for Bio Foods when it comes to sustainability? And how is the consumer market interacting with some of those outputs? Because I know a lot of what you do is not just for your internal stuff, but is also for the people that buy your products, for your suppliers.
Exactly.
Paint a picture for us.
Sustainability is embedded in everything, from the farm to the delivery of the products in the market. So the easiest way and the best way for me to summarize this, which is a story I give all the time, is a phrase we say, grass to glass. So from the time the cow is taking the grass to the point you pour your milk to the glass. And the idea is there's one aspect when it comes to sustainability that's easily forgotten, which is usually the profit bit of it. And our idea is that we can do good farming. We can train our farmers to do good farming that's good for the planet, but one that also makes sense financially to them. Because if there's no money, honestly, no one is going to farm. Yeah, so what that looks like is we train them on just how to treat their cows, what to feed their cows.
Okay, when you say that, we're getting into interesting territory here.
Yeah, so
on animal rights.
Yes, we call it animal welfare. So we have a document that's called Bio Stewardship Standards, and there's animal welfare, there's human welfare, and then now there's the environmental bit of it. So it does not make sense if I'm gonna train you how to treat your worker well and not treat your cow properly, because believe it or not, cows have emotions.
Okay.
And they catch up with the milk production.
For real?
Yes.
Is this scientific or this is our scientific? Nice feel good?
No, it's very scientific, and we've tried and tested it.
Yeah.
So you talk to a farmer and the cows have been sleeping on the ground and there are rocks, and the milk production is not very nice. So you talk to them and you convince them, oh, by the way, you can create a makeshift bed made out of hay. And the cow starts sleeping there, and all of a sudden the cow is producing more milk. It doesn't keep kicking you all the time.
This is so interesting.
So a happy cow is equal to a happy farmer, because the money is coming in.
It's coming in.
Such things, and how do you dispose your waste, your veterinary waste from the farm? Where do you need to throw it away? whom do you need to give the right people, making sure that we bring quality milk to the company, and whether we have the best machines, whether we have the best technical team at Bio, we will never bring you a quality product if we don't make sure that the quality starts from the farm.
Oh, this is so good.
So that's where sustainability is embedded everywhere. So from how we teach the farmers to deal with the cows, and then how we transport the milk, so how we train the drivers. Look, this is how you put this milk from this person's tank.
The transportation.
Yes, we handle our own fleet. So we have control of how we clean, how we rinse, the jacketing of the tanks, because the milk has to come cold. Very, very chilled at usually 3 to 4, which is very good. How it's processed in the factory, the quality of that. So such a trained quality team, and I can say that because I have worked in the lab. I've also worked partly in production. So also that. So how do you use your water? So how do you use your water while still producing a quality product? How do you store your product while making sure that you're also by the end of the day, it's quality, and then the people in the chain. So our farmers are paid well.
So I'm gonna throw a spanner in there. There's been a lot of conversation of moving towards a living wage.
Yes.
I don't know where Biofoods is with that dynamic, because I know for a fact there are a lot more dynamics to actually pay your farmers a living wage, even how you calculate what living wage would be. And what are some of those dynamics when you've been working with your farmers?
So with our farmers, we don't pay them a wage. We pay them for the milk. But what we've done is we make sure that we're paying them above the market price. And it's usually 30 to 40% more than what people in the market are paying for it. But then the conversation around it is easier because we're like, this is our baseline, which is already above the market rate. But then we teach them how to make sure that the milk is even better. So there are certain parameters that we test. Your butter fat, if your butter fat is past a certain level, there's a bonus. If your aflatoxin is quite low, there's a bonus. If your milk has the right amount of fat, then there's a bonus. So there's a flat rate and extra shillings on top of it with regards to the parameters. So with that, it encourages them to produce better quality milk, but then we're also not just telling you to produce it, we are willing to put the money in that. So that's for the farmers. And I believe, I don't know whether I'd call it living, but anything that's usually significantly higher than the market rate is very good.
Is very much appreciated. And I think I'm very passionate about agriculture. So just listening to you today, it's just been like gems on gems on gems on how companies can actually steward the conversation of sustainability, and not just from a conversation, but even a resource point of view, and even systems that allow farmers to kind of transition to that kind of farming practices. I know you've talked about the opportunities. From an implementation point of view, what are some challenges that have come with organizing this ecosystem? Because again, there are so many moving players and partners, both internally and externally. What would you say has been a key challenge, and how Biofoods has sort of thought around navigating it and solving that?
That's a good question. I'm just going to take you back a bit and mention that if your employee in Bio is paid a living wage, because there's a system that's already working worldwide for calculating living wage for certain cities, for certain countries. And as of yesterday, or today in the morning, the living wage is 109 or 114 more than what is gazetted as the minimum wage. So that's for the employees. When it comes to the challenges, I think I would summarize all my sustainability challenges as data. The lack of it, or the lack of cohesion of it, it's just around data. If I want to create a sustainability strategy for any organization, where I'll start is, let me see what you're doing. If that organization hasn't put everything in place, I don't know what I'm working with. Then now we have to go back and create a structure of how do we measure, because you can't ever change anything that's not measured.
Yes.
If you're not measuring it, there's no way around it.
There's no conversation around how we
so mine
utilize
has just been data. And from a farmer's perspective, that's actually very challenging, because someone is running a very big farm, but then you want to ask them questions like, how many cows do you have? That's very obvious. So how many milking cows do you have? It's like, at what point?
At what point?
Yes, at what point in month 1, in month 12, which data do you want? How much milk are you producing? Very nice. They will know that. How much milk are you producing per milking cow? That's a whole other
even
challenge.
at the point of collection, I mean, at what point am I collecting this data within
exactly
cycle of farming?
Exactly. So, and even in the organization, there are nitty-gritties, because I want to have us certified as carbon neutral, but then we need to go back, calculate our carbon emissions. Scope 3 is crazy. Scope 1, Scope 2, that's easy. Scope 3, very crazy. Because one of the questions you'll be asked is, oh, so you imported this. Okay, so how did it come? Air freight, shipped here, and someone is going to go deeper and ask you, which ship? I'm not in procurement, so this space has just taught me to know, to just ask the right questions. So, and I believe that this is the challenge that everyone in the sustainability space is not, unless you just want to give a random story about sustainability. And yes, if you want to give a story,
you can.
If you want to have KPIs and all
impact.
that, data is very important.
Which brings us to the next part of this conversation. Are there any tools that you have explored in the market that have kind of assisted with data management from a BioFoods perspective?
Yes. So one of the things that made it really easy was just having a more comprehensive ERP systems. So what's happening in the market these days, all the big ERP systems that you know, are realizing that people are moving more and more to try and get their sustainability data in one place. And there's no better way than having all those things, all this data in the same ERP system, where if you have imports, that's where they're received. If you have production, that's where your bill of materials are. So it makes sense to have them have a module on sustainability. But then even then, there's a lot of conversation that goes in between you and them to make sure that you have the right thing. But that has helped, because it's very easy to retrieve data. It's very easy to do that. But there's still an aspect of it that's not covered, which is usually waste. So what factory waste is coming out? How am I able to put that together? How sure am I that this, what I say in this February,
the traceability of it.
Yes, exactly. So that's still a bit pending, but with everything else, that's usually covered by the ERP system. Yeah.
This has been insightful. I have so many follow-up questions. I definitely feel like we'll have you back for another episode in season 2. Yeah. But right now, I want us to bring us to a close. I've had such an insightful personal journey. My question is, to the Rosalid 10 years ago, if you were to talk to her today, what's that one takeaway you want her to remember? You're not thinking about it, or this is the advice I would give you 10 years ago.
To learn how to say yes faster. As someone who likes to plan, sometimes I overthink a lot. And so many of my things have really worked by just saying yes. Of course, not to anything illegal or criminal. Just when people give you opportunities, and when someone sees you and they ask you to do something, appreciate that they went through their thought process and were like, this person can do it. And instead of saying, let me think about it and then I'll get back to you, I will tell myself to say yes, and then go figure out how it's done, And if I'm stuck, then I can call back and say, I said yes, I've been trying to figure it out, but I'm unable to. And people will hold your hand. So I would say yes. Like now I will say yes in all anxiety. I'll just like, I'm so anxious, but the answer is yes.
But the answer
I will
is yes.
figure it out. That's what I'd have told myself. The overthinking is...
It's neither here nor there. Just go in. The worst that can happen is you do some mistakes here, then you learn
fail,
from them.
or they'll tell you no, and you'll still get no's, even if you overplanned sometimes. So yes, that would be it for me.
That is advice I'm also taking for myself. We've come to the end of this episode. This was so insightful, especially your personal journey. I think has inspired me. I don't know why you keep calling it unorthodox. For me, it has definitely inspired me. I want to close with a parting shot. What can we look forward to for biofoods for sustainability in at least in the coming years? Hopefully we'll still have you as the head of sustainability.
There's so many things, but let me pick one. We had a project last year around fodder, which is the main problem. And I believe anyone from any dairy sector, any meat sector would tell you the same thing. Quality feed has been a problem. And we did that project and it was using less water. It used less water. It was more with regards to the space in which it was grown at. And the water content, the water content in the feed was less, which means in layman's language, if you eat food that has more dry matter, you will get satisfied more without eating too much. And that's a very interesting aspect of sustainability that people are not seeing it, because that would mean that for a smaller portion, we'd be able to get better feed that's cheaper to the farmer. And it's cheaper to their overall operations, which means by the end of the day, they have more money in their pockets.
Because they've spent less on...
Exactly, yes. So in the future, I see us partnering with farmers who plant this fodder more, because even for them, the person who's planting it would have more quality feed in that kind of space. I know that's not your carbon emission reduction, all that thing, but for me, that would be very, very important, because it would play along on when it comes to everything, to the farmers, to the person who's planting it, to the amount of water that we're using, which is, water is a depleting resource. So for us to do that on a large scale level, have people working together and just change the entire dairy sector, that for me would be it. That's where I see us headed.
I think I really like that parting shot, because it really brings the conversation home. There's a lot of pushback generally that a lot of what we adopt as sustainability is global initiatives that lack a local context. But here I am hearing stories of local contextualized sustainability initiatives that aim to improve across the entire value chain. So thank you so much, Rosalid. This has been a very insightful conversation. Can't wait to have you again here on our set. So to my audience at home, we have come to the end of this episode here. It has been an interesting conversation. Make sure to subscribe and follow our social media handles for more of this content, and see you in the upcoming series. Goodbye. I have been your host, Jenna Chien.